Well, good evening, everyone. This is Kevin Crouch here in the Jimmy Porch Real Estate Weather Center, bringing you live coverage of yet another group of thunderstorms, a system that is moving in from the west here. And as you can see, it's quite the rainmaker off to our west. Also going to bring in some strong winds as it moves in. One interesting little feature here, as you see behind the storm to the southwest of Cleburne, is kind of this circulation here, and I don't anticipate that being anything tornadic because it is behind this line. I think that what could be very well happening is that it's forming what's called a mesoscale convective vortex, which is essentially when you have a line like that, sometimes the top of that line, the winds are coming around and it kind of starts to circle around and kind of looks like a larger system, where you have the whole line come in and then it kind of circulates around the low pressure system. This is a mesoscale level of that, and so that means that it's a smaller scale here, but kind of the same thing. So I just wanted to point that out ahead of time, just in case you do actually see that. So let's zoom in a little bit and kind of show what's going on in this storm, and we'll put this into motion here. And you can see kind of where that's rotating a little bit, and that's not, again, I don't think that is anything tornadic, just based on the fact that it's behind the line, and there hasn't really been any discussion of that either. So I don't think that we have to worry about that. We definitely don't have any rotation that is catching my eye on the front end of this storm. If we just take a look at it, let's pause this, and right on the leading edge of that, I don't see anything that has immediately caught my eye. We may have to watch here between Covington and Whitney. For that area, looks like we could have some converging winds in that area. Excuse me, and so that could be an indication of something trying to happen, but on the large scale, I don't see anything that has me concerned. Again, you may be kind of looking at this area to the west of Rio Vista there, again, where we're not really worried about rotation in a tornadic sense here. There is rotation in that area, but it does appear to be more related to the production of a mesoscale convective vortex than anything particularly tornadic. So what we're really watching for here, as far as primary threats, is going to be strong winds right on the leading edge of this, and really it looks like the main area for winds is going to be south of Grandview down to Whitney, just north of China Spring. But for the Ellis County area, I think most of what we're going to see out of this is some frequent lightning, but also a lot of rain. This is definitely going to be a rainmaker. I do expect to see a severe thunderstorm warning issued for Ellis County here shortly. Let me see if I can get... I don't see... because I'm not seeing any lightning in that line right now. It is listed there, but doesn't... I'm not sure of that. There we go. Now you can see it. There's a lot of lightning in that line, and you can definitely see it over here on the right on the velocity view here. So there does appear to be a fair amount of lightning in this storm. Looks like most of that is going to be south of most of the part that's going to impact Ellis County, mostly to the south of Grandview, Itasca, Hillsborough, Aquila there. So those areas will really be seeing the brunt, I think, of the wind and the lightning. We're kind of in a good spot as far as this storm is concerned. In some ways, because the stronger winds and really the heavier precipitation looks to be farther to the south. Whitney is really getting slammed right now. However, if we do have any kind of rotation, it does not it's not bode well for our area, because again, this is the part of the storm where the winds are going to be kind of creating the most shear, I should say. So it's not likely that we'll see it, but anytime we have a straight line where there's strong winds coming in one direction and incoming inflow winds going a different direction that could cause a little bit of shear, which shear is where winds are going different directions at different heights in the atmosphere. We could see some of those brief spin-ups. But for the most part right now, I don't see anything that has grabbed my eye and is immediately concerning me. Again, west of Hillsboro, this area, we may have to kind of watch that a little bit, but I'm not expecting anything immediately threatening at this time. But I did want to go ahead and go live because I know that you guys would be looking out and seeing this and wondering what was going on, and especially when you start getting a severe warning, if in fact that is issued for this area. I do expect we'll get one. This storm has been severe warned for quite a while now, going back several counties pretty consistently. And if we look at the warning out for Johnson County right now, of course that is in effect, let's see, until 5:30, so it's about another 20 minutes now, a little less. And it says that this storm is capable of 60-mile-per-hour winds and penny-sized hail. And so, and that is radar indicated. I haven't seen confirmation of any kind of confirmed reports of hail sizes or wind speeds or anything, but these storms are certainly capable of that, and that's really all you need to see in a storm in order to have one of those warnings issued. If we take a broader look, let's kind of take a big look and see what's going on. Of course, this is part of a larger complex here, and you can see where that rotation here on the back end of the storm kind of forming that mesoscale convective vortex, and you can see it's even pulling in some of the rain we had earlier today. This kind of moved in, so you can see on a larger scale where the winds are coming in and kind of normally if this were hitting a storm, a single storm, then we could very well have a major tornado situation on our hands. But because we're kind of in the unique situation of it being a larger scale circulation, it's a very broad circulation that is moving the large storm as it is. Then we're not having to deal with the kind of rotation that we saw in the Forreston area a few weeks ago, earlier in the beginning of this month. So luckily, in that regard, I don't think we have anything to worry about as far as tornadoes. However, what I'll also say is that on the leading edge of this, I will be watching, particularly from Alvarado to Grandview, Itasca. That part of the storm is where I'll kind of be watching for some of these notches. So far, the storm, it's really kind of been ragged, and there hasn't been a whole lot of organization thus far. And so that's been a good sign. Now, again, what I'm going to be watching is this area south of Covington and west of Hillsboro. Does, again, appear to be some converging winds there. Could be some shear trying to develop and trying to form some broad rotation. But, again, nothing immediately threatening at this very moment. Certainly no tornado warnings or anything of that sort. Right now, the only warning is this severe thunderstorm warning for most of Johnson County over into Hill County. So I'll put this back into motion here so you can see that that was kind of crazy. Here we go. See that these storms are moving in, marching onward, and I will actually let's reduce the number of frames there because you don't need to see quite that much from the radar view. There we go. And again, you can kind of see where this is kind of wrapping around in the back of the storm. And again, that's not a rotation, circulation that I'm particularly concerned about. I don't think that that's going to result in a tornadic situation. If we have any of that, it'll be on the front end of the storm, which does appear to be losing some intensity. If you watch, especially this section up in Johnson County here, you can see that it is starting to lose some of that intensity as it moves in. But you look at this area around the Whitney, Aquila, Hillsboro area, and my goodness, you see how they're very red in that area, lots of lightning. in those areas, and it's very, very intense for sure as we move, as that storm continues to move off to the east. But it looks like the section that's going to hit most of Ellis County does appear to be weakening. Now, this section of the storm further to the south that's going to be moving towards the Forreston, Italy, and Milford areas does still appear to pack a punch a little bit. There could be a little bit of hail mixed in with that as well as that continues to move off to the east. So far, no new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Ellis County, and I am watching that very closely, but I'm not seeing any new warning for Ellis County yet. So what could possibly happen is there could be a bit of a shaved down version of a warning where it could cut off at Maypearl and Ennis and go southward. I wouldn't be surprised if it does, or possibly just south of Waxahachie, because it does look like this northern section of the storm is losing some of that intensity, and you can see how it generally is just kind of becoming less organized, falling apart a little bit, losing some of that red coloration. So I would not be surprised if the warning itself excludes, or at least includes only the southern half of Waxahachie in the next few minutes once the new warning is issued. And it may be just a few minutes, but this line is getting to the edge of that initial warning, and there's only about 14 minutes left in this polygon here. So I do suspect we'll see a new one that I don't imagine that more than about half of Ellis County will be covered in that new warning. But I don't work in the office in Fort Worth. The experts over there will make that determination. And, just waiting for that bulletin to come across. Haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure that is coming very soon. And I do want to take a moment to thank folks who are giving stars. I know that, let me see if I can get over to this screen. There's a new screen I can see actually where people send stars in. Actually see that live, which is pretty neat. That to me is a pretty cool little tool. Okay, so here we have, let me see, let me get to the bottom of, and this does not want to, okay. So this is about as far as I can go. I want to thank some folks. I'm just going to let the radar kind of go on the screen so you can, those new folks jumping in can see what's going on. But Brittany Miller, thank you for the stars that you sent. Garrett Smallwood and Joel Vaughn, thank you for the stars. Matthew Rogers, appreciate that. 100 stars from Sharon Luzier, thank you so much. Ariaga Yvonne, I think I said that right. 150 stars, thank you. Debbie Nolan, Joseph Orlando, Tammy Ray Hatch, thank you all so very much for the support that you guys have sent. And the stars, it seems it's an interesting concept. You send 100 stars, that's essentially $1. But that stuff does add up, and that allows me to kind of give back to my family who gives me up and allows me to take the time to do this with all of you. So I do appreciate the stars that you guys are sending. Courtney Robinson, thank you for the stars that you've sent. Lots of first-time stars senders out there. Don't be a stranger, always happy to see those repeat offenders out there that send in that support. That's always appreciated. So we'll get back to the science here. This line of storms continuing to move off into Ellis County here. Mostly the heaviest stuff is going to impact southern portions of Ellis County. As we've been talking about, this northern section is kind of weakening a little bit, and really it's from Grandview on down south to Aquila, down almost to China Spring here, where the heaviest section of this storm. As I've said, we're not really looking at any kind of tornado issues right now. We're certainly not expecting that over the next few minutes or so. I'm not seeing anything that immediately causes concern for me. The only thing that I did mention is that I will be watching this area of converging winds in the Hillsborough area. So I will be watching that just to see if we could be dealing with any kind of rotation there. It doesn't, right off the bat here, sometimes these spin-ups that happen on the front end of a squall line like this, some of the concern can be that we can, best way to say it, on the front end of a squall line, the spin-ups happen quickly and briefly. So sometimes there's no circulation, and then the very next frame on radar, because it takes 3 to 5 minutes sometimes to update, it's there. And it happens very quickly, it starts very quickly, and goes very quickly. That's why sometimes those circulations are hard to catch and actually do a warning for. So, you know, that's kind of some of what we're looking at in that regard. So, you know, time will tell how this particular line of storms will act. But I will say that there doesn't appear to be, on the front end of the storm, doesn't appear to be a very concentrated area of strong winds. Gusty winds for sure, you're going to notice the winds pick up a little bit, but not anything damaging, not anything particularly attention-grabbing. But I do want to continue to watch this area around Hillsborough, because that does look like the kind of general shear, again, those winds moving in different directions in the atmosphere and those converging winds, that does look like the kind of shear that could eventually turn into something. So I will keep an eye on that for sure. But again, not anything that's immediately concerning me. In fact, what I'm going to do, so I'm going to put that on a different screen here so I can just kind of have it in the corner of my eye. That way we can do different things, and I don't want you to have to stare at that the entire time. So I'll have that in front of me here where I can just kind of check it out of the corner of my eye over the next few minutes. And we got some stars coming in. Let's see, where did I leave off? I'm gonna lose track here. All right, I'm trying to do this and thank people, because you do deserve it for sure. Let's see, Stacy Roloff, thank you for the stars. Kelly Caudle, I think that is. I thank you for that. I apologize if I messed that name up somehow. Jill McKeown, thank you for the stars. I know I see your name a lot on this page. And Kelly Greeninger, thank you for the stars as well. And Allison, I don't think there's any severe weather that would need to facilitate you getting out of a comfortable bath. So I think you're good. It's not anything. In fact, if anything, a bathtub a lot of the time is the safest place to be in the middle of a severe storm. So, you know, if that's what works for you, hey, go for it. Holly Feller, thank you for the stars there. Ryan Allison, thank you there for the stars. Always appreciate that. Always helpful to have that coming in. In fact, let me see if I can let's see. Well, oh, that was okay. So that little sound there, and what's crazy is that little sound is that's a notification that I'm getting stars. But I've been getting a lot, but in case you hear that sound every now and then, that's what that is. And it was funny the other day. I heard that sound come over, and it really sounds like Mario getting a bunch of coins or something, and had no clue what was even going on. So I was like, am I, should I be like, should I be jumping, like grabbing something above my head? Like what's going on here? Let me see. Okay, we got more stars coming in. Rick Allison, thank you for the stars there. Toby Beasley, thank you so much for sending there. That is always appreciated. Okay, and I'm seeing this these little button. I'm very ADD, guys, so I see neat, fun stuff that I'm having too much fun looking at here. And when you do what I do and you stream like I do, there's always new stuff to find, and so you're gonna, ooh, shiny. So that stuff kind of happens. Scott Lindsay, thank you so much for sending some stars there. Let's get over to the radar. Just kind of keep you guys updated. I still do not see a new severe thunderstorm warning issued at all for Ellis County, and it looks like it's possible that these storms may have weakened below severe limits. So I think that we could be, unless a new warning is issued here momentarily, and you never know, there may be some back and forth as to where exactly to issue that, because I would be surprised if there was not a severe thunderstorm warning issued. Whoa, did not mean to do that. For the southern part of the storm, from Carl's Corner down to Hillsborough, Abbott, and Aquilla, that area, because still some pretty intense storms moving through that particular area. But for the moment, these are not, it doesn't look like the severe thunderstorm warning is going to continue. This warning will expire here in the next 3 to 4 minutes. So after that point, that may be allowed to expire, and then we will have to see if the National Weather Service in Fort Worth issues a new warning for this section of the storm. Again, the part that's going to hit Ellis County, and let me kind of broaden this out a little bit again so you can see. Really, the top section of this that's going to impact most of Ellis County has weakened considerably. This area from Alvarado down to Grandview has not really, we're not really seeing the intensity that we were a few minutes ago. But south of Itasca, down to Hillsborough, Abbott, Aquilla, West, Golson, is, that's not really what we're watching. Now, I am hearing something about a special weather statement that has come out, so let me go get the information on that. So it's possible that there could just be a special weather statement issued rather than a severe thunderstorm warning. And that did come across a few minutes ago. So let me go ahead and read over that. It says at 5:20 p.m. Central Daylight Time, Doppler radar was tracking strong thunderstorms along a line extending from Maypearl to Carl's Corner to 8 miles west of West. That's fun to type. Movement is east at 45 miles per hour, so moving fairly quickly off to the east. And winds in excess of 40 miles per hour will be possible with these storms. So it does sound a little bit like we could be looking at storms that are now below severe limits, that, not too far below, but below severe limits. And another note on this is that torrential rainfall is also occurring with these storms and may lead to localized flooding. Of course, do not drive your vehicle through flooded roadways. Turn around, don't drown, etc., etc. So that's going to be the primary concern here. We still could see wind speeds in excess of 40 miles per hour. It sounds like, and really it looks like on what I'm seeing below the screen here, is that we're not really seeing anything that's causing immediate concern as far as winds are concerned, not seeing any major wind speeds or anything of that sort. If we go to this view, you can see in the Carl's Corner area still some gusty winds moving into that area. Carl's Corner, Hillsborough area. I'm still going to be watching that just to make sure that we don't have any kind of circulation that spins up there, but I don't think that we have to worry about that at the moment, because it just does not look like there's anything particularly organized at this very moment. So I think we are good to go in regard to that. So let's get another broad view. I know we got some new folks jumping in, and this is the view that we're watching. And I know, again, you might be looking at this going, hey, that's spinning. It is, but it's not it doesn't look like it's a kind of circulation that's going to cause tornadic activity. I don't think that we're going to be looking at that in particular for this area. It's on the backside of the storm. Again, probably in concert with the formation eventually of a mesoscale convective vortex, which once again is when on the storm level, on a more local level, you have the back of the storm kind of start to circulate, and then eventually you'll see this part of it. Let me stop. Okay. Let me draw here kind of the motion that you see, right? So this is kind of like a small low pressure system almost. That's kind of what we're seeing at this point. Now, the reason sometimes you can see circulations that are tornadic that develop here is that obviously you've got the winds pushing the storm to the east, and then you get these winds that are moving up along, and sometimes that can cause a little bit of circulations, but we don't have that right now. So that will be a concern moving forward as the storm continues to move across to the east from Hill County all over into Navarro County, southern Ellis County, those areas. So it will still be a matter of concern, because, like I said before, when you have those circulations that spin up, sometimes they're very brief, and it's hard to just kind of catch those because they do happen very quickly. So the good news is that really two things. One, we don't have that happening right now at this moment. No tornadic circulations at this very moment. And the other good news is that we are... Anytime those do develop, they're very brief. The best example I can think of for this area was the Waxahachie High School. A very weak, brief tornado pushed through that area, and there was a little bit of damage, but not anything major. And Tinley, you're saying you're confused. Let's see. There's a tornado in the sky. Is really dark over here. And in Ennis, it's only 5 o'clock, and it's never dark. The darkness of the sky is not an indication if there's going to be a tornado. Any of these storms are really going to darken the sky above you, sometimes dramatically, and that's not an indication of whether you're looking at a tornado or not. So you're okay. You know, that's not you're not looking. That doesn't indicate that you're going to get a tornado. There's so much more that goes into that, and those kind of factors are not what we're seeing. Okay, so. I am seeing, let me just take a look here. So I'm seeing what looks possibly like a severe thunderstorm warning here from the National Weather Service, but there's not an actual, let me take a look here. Okay, no. Okay, that's the special weather statement. I was looking at a map and it was, let me see if I can get that pulled up here. No, let's see. And Tinley, that's okay. That's why I try to teach a little bit on this. That's why I try to teach a little bit on this page, because I know not everybody is as learned, as I am, and you don't know things as you're not as familiar with things. So that's why I try to give you the information that I can. So. Not a problem. You're here to get the information that you need, and I'm here to give it to you. That's what we're here for. So the severe thunderstorm warning that did exist for Johnson and Hill counties and Bosque County has expired, and does at this point look like we are now dealing with a non-severe line of storms, which is good news. We are seeing a weakening trend with these storms. National Weather Service saying now, the guys over in Fort Worth saying that the line of thunderstorms in central Texas is no longer severe, but noting that although the severe threat has diminished, the flood threat continues. Street flooding and flooding of low-lying areas may occur in areas with high rain rates. So where you're getting those heavier rain, those heavier rainfall rates in these areas, which is definitely going on all the way from Alvarado, Maypearl, Grandview, Itasca, Carls Corner, Bynum, down to Abbott and West, all this area, getting quite a bit of rain in a relatively short amount of time. Flooding could very well be an issue for those areas. So just keep that in mind. Flooding has been common around here. We've had plenty of plenty of rain coming down the last several days, so unfortunately that's going to be kind of the reality that we're looking at over the next few hours, and really the next several days, as we get into yet another active pattern, because that's what everybody wants to hear. Unfortunately, of course we are still under a flash flood watch. I almost forgot that was there, but we are under a flash flood watch until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Until 7 p.m. tonight that's where we're looking at the that's where we're seeing the severe thunderstorm watch that is still in effect, although it does look like this line is no longer severe. So it looks at this point like our primary threat is going to be flooding. There could still be some small hail in the stronger segments of this storm. Really, I would say from Italy and Milford southward at this point. If there's going to be any hail, it would be in those areas. And then there could be some gusty winds as the line is moving through. But it does not look like we have an acutely severe weather situation going on. Let me go back and thank some more star senders here. I'm trying to make sure that I go where I left off here. Jerry Rhodes, thank you for sending those stars. Victoria Villegas and Jeremy Pritchett, thank you. And Donna Armstrong. And Jeremy, looks like you sent twice, so I really appreciate that. If you did indeed, I don't know if it's just replicating or what, but either way, thank you so very much. And thank you, too, to everyone that is sharing this stream as well. That definitely does make a difference, and it inspires me. And I was going to do a stars goal here. I keep forgetting to do those things, but I don't think that I'm actually able to do that. And of course, we're always trying new things. And there's also 2 Facebook groups that we are in currently, and I'm trying to make sure that we are streaming there as well. If so, welcome. If not, oops. It's supposed to be streaming to those. We're still kind of learning that process, but not sure if we are actually and we had that set up to work automatically, but we're still learning some of those things. So if you were expecting this to be showing up in the groups, I apologize. We're still working on that process. We had that set up to go automatically, but not sure if that's working. So we will have to see how that is going. And again, just to reiterate, in case anyone is looking at that little stars notification, I'm not really sure what it says on your end. I think that there might be something like a pop-up that says, I know Matt posted a comment, or pinned a comment rather, saying that it supports this page, but I think there's like a pop-up or something. But the stars just help support me, give me some kind of giving me financial support that I can share with my family for the time that they give up with me to allow me to do this with you. Priscilla, you're saying you heard tornado sirens here in Waxahachie. Those outdoor sirens, real quickly, do not always indicate tornadoes. They sound those for different reasons. However, I can usually hear them from where I am, and I haven't heard those, so I'm not sure what that could be referring to. So I'm not sure you heard. It might have sounded like it, but I'm not sure if it was, in fact, one of the outdoor sirens. Normally, those are not going to be sounded if there's not a severe weather situation. So who knows? It could have been a malfunction. I'm not sure, but I haven't heard anything about that from anyone else. I'm not sure what that could be referring to. So let me just kind of do another broad look at what we're seeing. After this storm moves through, we're still going to have some more rain tonight. Just kind of going to be it's going to be another kind of just rainy, wet evening. There's not a whole lot more I can offer you there. There's not a whole lot more I can say than it's just going to be wet and kind of gross. And really, honestly, that's what we're going to be looking at over the next several days. In fact, there's not a day in the forecast right now, in the 6-day forecast the 7-day forecast I have here, that does not include a chance of rain. So unfortunately, it does look like we will be looking at another very rainy week. And I think at this point right now, we're not looking at a major severe weather week or anything of that sort. And it does look like we're just barely included in a marginal risk of severe weather for tomorrow. So I don't expect that to be a major event. After that, it doesn't look like we are looking at severe weather for the rest of the week, at least at this point. Obviously, the further out you get into the forecast, the less reliable that is. And so we'll have to wait and see if a severe weather threat does, in fact, materialize. But I think for right now, at this point, I don't think we're going to be looking at any kind of major severe weather issues for the rest of the week. But the main point on that is that I am primarily just concerned about the flooding issues that we've been having. Soils are already saturated. We've had plenty enough of rain. The soil can't really take any more at all, but it's just going to keep coming. So I will actually, let me get over to where I can show you. Get to where I can show you the forecast. All right, so here is the forecast as we see it. Again, we have the severe thunderstorm watch that goes until 7 p.m. tonight, so about another hour and 20 minutes, but I really do expect that will either be canceled or shaved down or something to no longer include Ellis County very soon, or simply just allowed to expire. Then the flash flood watch does go through 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. So Tuesday, a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms, 40% on Tuesday night, 50% on Wednesday, 30% Wednesday night, 50% Thursday, 20% Thursday night. So it does look like mostly a daytime situation. Then Friday, 50%. Saturday, showers and thunderstorms likely. Sunday, showers and thunderstorms likely. Monday, 50% chance. I mean, we're looking at another very, very wet period as we get into the beginning of June. And the other thing that I'll point out here is that the temperatures do not go above the mid-80s for quite some time. In fact, throughout this forecast, we are around the low 80s. I don't think I even see mid-80s at this point in the forecast that we have. So the first week or so, first 7 or 8 days of June are going to be very much cooler than what we usually expect to be getting in the beginning of summer here in North Texas. So, hey, we could be very well looking at a much more relaxed approach to the beginning of summer here. So, and that's meteorological summer. Of course, the first calendar official day of summer is going to be later, but meteorological summer begins tomorrow with the beginning of June. So that's when you get kind of the seasons that are, 3 months each. And so that's what we're going to be looking at, wet and cooler for the beginning of June. So if you don't like the hot weather, then you're in luck. But I think we're all probably tired of all of the rain that we've been getting as well, because it is just excessive. Thank you, Shirley, for the stars that you've sent. Thank you, Stacy, for those stars as well. And of course, thank you everybody for sharing this stream as well. And we are out of the woods for the severe weather today. This is going to continue to move through, but what I'll say is that primarily South Ellis County, still very heavy rain moving through, a lot of lightning with these storms as well, so you want to be careful of that. For all of Ellis County, the rain is going to continue for the evening. And no tornadoes tonight. In fact, with a severe weather threat has been pretty well diminished at this point. Shouldn't see any kind of severe weather in our area. Looks like it's just moderate to kind of a steady to heavy rain moving through. Janita Thornell, thank you so much for your support in the stars. And of course, you can send stars after this is posted as well. You don't have to do it while it's live. So if you're still working on that, not a problem. Just wait till it posts, and you can send them then. But going to be a rainy evening, a rainy night across North Texas, and a rainy week across North Texas, unfortunately. So just keep that umbrella going. I actually just bought myself a new umbrella because mine was getting worn out. Imagine that. So continue to stay tuned to Ellis County Weather for more information. And Tinley, there's no tornadoes in our area, no tornadoes tonight. So I can't emphasize that enough. That we're not looking at any tornadoes for this area. There was some discussion of tornado sirens, but I'm not really sure what that's referring to. We don't have any warnings right now. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up this live coverage. I'll continue to keep an eye on all of this activity, of course, throughout the evening, but I think we can let you folks go back to your Memorial Day evening as we get ready to go back into the work week. Fortunately, it's a short week, so just 4 days of the work week, and we're back to the weekend. But again, keep the rain gear handy over the next week as we're going to continue to see the showers and thunderstorms stick around for at least another week. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. Stay tuned.